there, how you doing? Welcome back to another episode of Tetanam with moi, Malika Oma, the podcast for Africans by Africans. And wow, today is a very exciting episode. Hey, little fans of the, I'm very excited for this. I know there's this thing that's been going on of women, you guys, you like getting together and just talking nonsense. Women, yeah, this is gonna be another episode of three women coming here and yelling at people probably and calling out a lot of nonsense. We are demanding for a lot of accountability, talking about what should work and why, and asking why it's not. What's the problem? Like, it's just simple questions. What's the problem? And the only way we can be able to figure out these issues is actually have conversations about it. And here we are. I am here with two amazing ladies. I want them to introduce themselves. On this podcast, I don't introduce my guests because I believe that everybody should tell their own story so that the world does not tell your story for you. And I live by that example. So, tafadhali, peana bio yote. Mimi mwambie mtu pitch yourself. Ni kama is a business meeting. Say everything. Pauline, tuanze nawe.
Yeah, so I am Pauline Small Mbugwa. So many know me as Small Mbugwa, some know me as Pauline Mbugwa. I'm an actress, I'm a model, I am a wellness and sexual reproductive health advocate. I'm also a policy analyst under the same line. And I'm also founder and ED Grappa apparel brand. Yes.
We love to see women plugging their businesses.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Mumbi Mwangi. I stand by the labels, of society, but first I am human. And then I am a practicing psychologist with my own firm, currently called Maishani, and a consultant with Elim Trust Organization.
Ish. Niko na watu. I love that I am with a psychologist. I am obsessed with that. Funny thing, I'm actually a psychology student at the moment.
I love that.
I love the fact that she first said I'm human.
I
I always
know,
struggle
right?
with introduction because of that thing. Like where am I starting? Like am I starting from me being just a human, a girl? I'm just a girl, Or should I just shoot straight to my professions? I'm this and this and this, So
Yeah.
I'm human. Yeah.
I like that because even we've been programmed to always look at people as their profession and even look at ourselves only as a profession. But I'm like, you are more than your profession. You are a human existing. You are trialing and error. Life is actually trial and error because you've not practiced this day.
Exactly.
It's true.
It's unfortunate because sometimes in this day and age, when you present yourself, it's almost like, what can I benefit from you? But at the end of the day, you just being yourself has added to my life. Whether you know it, whether you don't.
Yeah.
That's the benefit of humanity.
True.
And that's the basis. That's where we start. Everything else falls after you being human.
I like how you've said humanity because one of the key things that I aim to show is how we are losing our humanity. We are losing, if not lost. Some people have lost their humanity completely, and I always say that it always boils down to women, because when you look at what levels of inhumane acts always start towards the women, right? It's very baffling. But now we want to talk about in this modern age of ours. They say we are very progressive. We have grown as a civilization. And I'm like, okay. Let's see about that. And something very simple in things as when you go to hospital as a woman and you'd go to a gynecologist. What is your experience? Like, what do you typically experience when you say you want to go to a gynecologist or when you're going to?
I think my interactions haven't had anything out of what would be deemed as normal. Your registration, giving what reasons why you're there, your application, and then the payment process. But I think what has stood out unfortunately to say, has been the selection between what kind of gynecologist do you want? Do you want a male gynecologist or do you want a female gynecologist? And to be asked that when I was first 16 with no mother, I think was a heavy question, because you sit back and you ask yourself, do you trust your gender enough? Or do you want to fall within what many people have said, for a doctor to be a man, you're guaranteed. I like the laugh because it's the truth. So I can't lie to you, it's been a matter of conflict. I have never maintained the same gynecologist until today.
Interesting. What about you?
So personally for me, I was introduced to my gynecologist through my mother. Yeah, so we see the same gynecologist but at different times. So yeah, and for me, it's a man. And I like the service and all that. So my experience for when I go to a gynecologist, it's usually smooth. It also comes from the point of I've been introduced to this thing by my mom. I've been told that as a girl, even if you don't have issues, you need to get your sexual reproductive health checked annually and all this, you know. So yeah. So me, I go to the gynecologist from a point of even if without diseases or anything or any issues, I go to the gynecologist with just accessing this thing in my mind and the fact that I was introduced to it. So for me, it's also like part of a gospel. You know, after God's gospel, it's our parents' gospel. So I can imagine Mumbi without a
Tema
mom.
tena. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy.
That's hectic.
Yeah.
That's really hectic. Even me, my mom introduced me to a gyna, but I don't go to that gyna anymore because I feel like he broke my trust. I needed a prescription. I was not in the country at the moment, and I couldn't remember the name of my prescription. And he had sent it to me before, but I had just gotten a new phone. Because you know the way WhatsApp before it backs up everything, it will take some time. I didn't have that time because I needed this prescription. I get this medication. So I asked him, I'm like, I know you had sent it to me in this, just within our WhatsApp chat. Kindly resend it to me because I got a new phone and I kind of lost some of my chats. This guy was like, okay, just send me 2,000 for consultation. I'm like, what consultation? What consultation? What consultation? I'm asking you something that you technically already sent it. If you sent it to me on email, I wouldn't have asked. And I had asked you to send it to me on email at first. You want to send it to me on email. So now that I need you to send it to me because the first time you did send it to me on my email, now you want me to give you a 2,000 consultation. I asked him a 2,000 consultation for what? He never responded because he knew it's nonsense. So that and that made me feel very, what's the word? You're trying to take advantage.
No, of course. Yeah.
That I need this assistance. And I was like, dude, really? I already paid for this. It's like now when you get into e-citizens and then when you want to download a document, they tell you have to pay again for it. It doesn't make sense. But I think that also tells you the perception that people have when it comes to women's reproductive health and sexual health and even health just in general. And I think that's exactly why I have you ladies here to talk about our policies in the health system. What is working? What is not working? How should it be working? You know, because it is crazy how you can go for a gyna consultation today, it's 500. Tomorrow you go, it's 1,000. The day after you go, it's 3,000. You're like, okay. And then even if you look at insurance covers, they don't cover all gynecological services or medications. So what's your take on that, ladies?
I think I even needed to lean in a bit because, the woman in me was like, wait, do we fight? Do we argue? First, let's listen. Because it doesn't make any sense for an individual to be seeking, again, back to the point of you begin as an individual. What makes you an individual? Your humanity. For an individual to benefit off an avenue that is meant to support your livelihood, I don't know where we create regulation between a selfish act and a selfless act, especially when it's supposed to benefit an individual. that's one area maybe I can pose a question to the audience, because when it comes to regulations, a lot of things are superseded by what requires things to be, like you are saying, things to progress, things need to move on. So by the time the organizations or the institutions behind a lot of the policies that are running to support the individuals that are now finding ways to, it feels heavy. It feels quite heavy, because there's no structure in place. There really isn't. With every new regime, with every new set of, be it the policies we are talking about, be it the rules and the regulations supported by the organizations on the ground, everything almost has to be reviewed, be it by term, be it by the new regime, be it by new year, be it by new budget. And that's why, as an organization, you almost have to step back and ask yourself, as an institution, what do we stand for before what is currently being superseded by the ground?
Could you give us an example of some
unquote.
of these?
I mean, if I could put my finger on it, something as simple as, it's hard to say, but when individuals have to go in for checkups after any violence offense has been taken, there's so many things that fall in place with the procedures that affect the individual before supporting them. And that falls in place with the policies and the regulations that we have to abide by, because they're created by the institutions and the organizations that run these spaces.
Yeah.
But is it benefiting the individual?
I do know one thing, that when you do get when you become a victim of such sexual violence, and this is a note to everyone, do not go to a private hospital. Do not go to a private hospital. You have to go to a public hospital so that you're able to prosecute and actually push for I'm gonna do justice, because some of these claims take years before they get just. But then you go to the public hospitals and you're like, happening? Where? What's going on? How are you telling me there are no beds? Two women who have just given birth are both in the same bed. How it's not making sense. So how is it looking from what they're telling us? What's the difference? What are they telling us? What are they actually doing?
So first of all, me, I like to start all the way back. So that people, first of all, understand we are talking about sexual reproductive health. And I like for people, first of all, to understand that it is a right. You see, the way you have a right to life, I cannot take away your life without being questioned, without being taken to court, without matters being taken to hand. That's the same way SRH is a right. As long as you're human, after umeshazaliwa, after you've already been born, that right applies to you. And in the Constitution of Kenya, it's actually very nice that it has been mentioned, I think under Article 43, we can all go there and check. It has been mentioned everyone has right to access the highest attainable healthcare that can be found for their health, And the Kenyan Constitution actually goes further and actually puts it there, up and including sexual reproductive health. So people should understand it is your right. When you enter a public hospital, first of all, you should be able to access anything under sexual reproductive health. And it goes, let me take a breather. And it goes all the way to sexual reproductive health includes things like contraception, family planning. It even starts from getting the education about your human anatomy, your reproductive. It starts from there. It goes all the way to reproductive cancers, to infertility. All those things are under SRH. So when you enter a public hospital, you should be able to access help to these things. It is in the constitution, it is your right. It even goes further to be expounded in the international health policy, of which also Kenya is a part of, which also part of the constitution under certain clauses were drawn from certain policies. So the biggest problem I think we have in Kenya is the implementation. It has been mentioned, it is a right, but the implementation in between, helping Kenyans access this right. First of all, sexual reproductive health is not bound by sex or gender. However, women are affected most because of, it all starts all the way from our anatomy.
Yeah.
We have a more, let me call it a more complex system, or a more
Demanding,
cute
yeah.
and demanding system.
It's just more interesting.
Exactly.
We're just more interesting.
Exactly. We have a more interesting
Sisikie
system.
wivu.
You know, we
We're
bring
just
a system that
interesting.
brings life, you know. It's, wow, it's such a powerful system to have.
It is.
So that's why SRH falls on women heavily more, you get? But pia hiyo watu wasisahau, there's also, it's not bound to sex or gender. Anyone should access it, because anyone can get STDs, STIs, RTI, any of those things. And it's also part of your right to access treatment to those things without problems, without having to pay the 2,000 out of nowhere, out of the moon, you know. You don't pay 2,000 to be alive.
You don't.
Because it's a right, you know. But the implementation process in between, starting from the government, they have failed us. I like to know if they put a budget for these things, because we are seeing a lot of NGOs take charge on these topics. I like to know, do they put a budget on these things?
No.
You know, because when I go to a clinic facility to get family planning, to get ARVs, to get this treatment, I should be having, as much as with this government, I think who expect to pay zero, it's like a dream. But sifai kwa nikilipa pesa mingi, you know, it's a right. The way I get treatment for malaria within a certain working budget, I shouldn't pay so many, you know, so much to
You're
access
right.
a gyna.
And it's within your being as a woman.
As a human being, you know. You were talking about, sorry, I was speaking notes as you were talking. You're also talking about people who have undergone things like GBV. If the government starts shedding light from up there, because it's in their constitution, if they start shedding light from up there, it will trickle down to things as small as having SRH offices in police station.
Yes.
Why is someone who has been raped coming to report rape to a police officer, first of all, who has not been trained to receive someone who has been abused?
And to handle it.
And to handle it. It even goes down to things like children. A child has been abused by the parent. And it's something, some abuse, like they have been beaten badly. Coming to report to a police officer who went through the same thing, what do you expect?
Atakwambia, hata si tulipigwa.
Exactly, you know.
Hata si tulipigwa.
That's why you get people reporting rape to a police officer and they're like, na, ulikuwa umevaa hivi. You know, we should have SRH facilities in police stations, in, you know, it goes all the way. If they start shedding light up there, things become easy as we go down. So right now, that's why it's being treated as a privilege, because if you didn't have the 2,000, you stay with the problem that took you to your gyna.
Na mimi at that point, it's not that I didn't have the money. I was like, it doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense for me to spend it. And that's when I actually made the conscious decision of like, I was like, you know what, fuck this meds. This is actually something that might be contributing to be making me worse. You know, because I had really terrible periods. I was like, fuck these meds. I'm like, you know what? My body's going to figure it out. We're going to get back to, we're going to flush it out of our system. We are going to figure it out. And I did figure it out. And when I came back, because I wasn't in the country, and I came back home, I met with a herbal doctor. That sounds so African.
Yeah.
You know? It actually sounds so African. I like it. And my cycle changed completely because he put me on a regime of natural plants, those are natural herbs and spices, you know, and I'm fine now. And now looking down at the line, I'm like, you just wanted to make money out of me.
You know?
But isn't that what the health system is in Kenya?
It really is. And not just in Kenya, but in the world. In the world as a whole, because if we step out of the Kenyan frame
Mm.
for a quick minute. There's a story I'm going to play for. There's a video I'm going to play for you guys a bit later on of an expectant mother who was being taken to and fro hospitals, but 9 very heavily expectant to and fro, but because of a lack of better systems, she ends up losing those children. And once you watch the video is more sad. It's more what the actual fuck. And you clearly see it's happening everywhere. Where people who say that we are going to take care of you, we are going to use your tax money to make sure, and it doesn't make sense. And you asked about if there's a budget allocation, and I did find out, yes, there was a budget given for highlighting sexual and reproductive health. So one is the Sub-Saharan allocation, the RMNCAH. Sub-Saharan under the State Department of Medical Services receives 6.29 billion in total for 2025 to 2026, up from about, it used to be 3.02 billion, and now it's been increased. It's gonna be broken down as follows: 39 million is gonna be for family planning, maternal and child health. And if you ask me, that's not enough money. We have a lot of issues in specifically family planning, maternal care, and child care. So you're telling me you're only giving us 6.29 billion to fix all the problems of all the women in Kenya, where the women in the northern part of Kenya, girls who do not have access to pads, something as simple as a pad. When people think family planning, it's, but I always say sex is a choice. Yeah? But having a period is not a choice. It's not a choice. So
Not sorry to say, if that was a budget for another country, maybe I'll believe it works for them. But currently in Kenya, I feel probably, I don't know, start writing Free Pauline. I feel this government doesn't like women and children. Yes, so it's also very hard for me to believe it's for that budget actually works and applies. Because when we were walking on the streets talking about femicide, I didn't see. I'm going now way back before now we start talking about the budget that is coming from the government that we think cares for us, especially as women and children. When we're walking on the streets talking about femicide, we did not see even the first lady, the mother of the country. We didn't see her on the streets. We didn't see the first daughter. We have seen her on the streets doing other things. But when we were walking, talking about femicide, women being killed, that time when now it became rampant. It's still there. Women are being killed. But when we were on the street, we didn't see the first lady. We didn't see the first daughter. We have seen her when we are doing other entertaining campaigns. But why didn't we see her there? We didn't see any women rape.
Esther Passaris had not spoken about it. By the way, I am out for you, Esther Passaris. She had not spoken about it the entire time. So zile watu wameenda streets, akatokelezea. She was kicked out. Like, what are you doing here? Go back where you
We were actually seeing women, governors say the most unhinged things regarding that topic.
Yeah, it was female governance.
So before we actually get to a government that actually allocates, can we see them being caring? Tafadhali, chama cha kusema na kutenda. Can we see before we actually, because it's also hard to believe. Yes, okay, there's budget allocation.
Ini for sure.
Who do they allocate it to?
Ini PR.
I think that's what I was even going to ask, because the facilities are present, but where are the utilities?
Thank you.
How do we have doctors still protesting in today's day and age for normal amenities that should be found in a hospital, for them to be able to practice, for them to be able to sustain the lives of those that they're supporting?
Yeah.
My concern is not really the budget. I think time and time again, tutaonyeshwa ma numbers. We will always be shown that there's a breakdown of, things will happen. But one question that I've always asked is, after we have given room for the policies to be heard, for the data to be reflected. During implementation, or given those times when we have been told tunatenda, after that, what point of reflection do we have? Because there's many times that they've sent relief to northern Kenya to advocate and support individuals who are not only on the ground supporting for what they would want to advocate for, or to have that, trickle-down system, but it's only for a very short time. It's not even for a prolonged period of time that you can say people
it's
have.
a temporary solution. I personally,
It
and
is.
this might make me sound like a bad guy, I personally have come to the point where I don't think I believe in pad drives anymore, because it's a temporary solution. It's not a permanent solution. And I've had a conversation about somebody who does pad drives, and she's saying what makes it difficult for it to become a system is because munapeleka pads shule museme aya we'll be doing like deliveries. Yeah. But then when you talk to the girls, they're like, us, we don't get these things. Why? The teachers are selling them. Female teachers are selling them. And you're like, this is why men make fun of us saying women are always against women. Because look.
That's what I wanted to mention, that I feel like we can no longer wait for the government, especially not this regime. So what we can do is, let's take these initiatives ourselves. And it starts from women supporting women. Because let me tell you, if one thing I'm very sure of, I don't have facts on it, but one thing I'm very sure of, it's if women were the ones who are carrying pregnancy to term, all these things will be so different. The policies will be so different. If men were the ones who are carrying pregnancies to term, all these policies will be so different. They would have already been shed on light years ago. Things will be black and white. Long years ago. Like kitambo. I feel part of the Sisi, we have forgotten to love ourselves as women. And men have really hacked it, and they have taken that baton and they have ran with it.
But they don't love themselves. I think men have taken, and I'm throwing shade, and maybe I'm just throwing shade. I don't think it's about loving themselves, because right now you can see men have the highest rate of depression. Sorry, not sorry. Welcome to being a woman. But I think it's for them, if they've seen, we've been able to dim their light. Let's now make a way of how we can benefit from it. Because how I see it, that's how it happened. And one of the biggest things that they used to help shape this narrative is religion. They made us feel terrible about our bodies. They made us feel dirty about our periods. They always say, you want to tempt a man. They always blame the woman for tempting the man. But it's kwani as a man, you don't have a brain. You don't have a brain. When God was teaching me self-control, you weren't taught. And technically, between men and women have a higher, if I use sex as a reference point, they always say that men get more horny? Or they want to have sex more. It's actually the other way around. It's women, because first of all, we have more nerves. We're more tentative and sensitive. The fact that we have different hormonal changes is a slight contributor to that. But we know how to control ourselves. So it's these people, so they don't know how to control themselves. So they're like, no, let's make you guys feel shitty about all of these things. And they saw, okay, I can put you and you against each other. Let me do that. And then even I think you can relate. Because I'm saying all three of us are different skin colors. You're darker, you're lighter, I'm somewhere wherever I am. And both of you can attest you've had different challenges as a light-skinned woman and as a dark-skinned woman. And when you really look at it, it's also women who make you feel a certain way about looking the way you do. But we've always loved ourselves. We've actually always loved ourselves. And we were made, I really do believe that they made us feel bad about hating ourselves. And that has continued so much. And even governments, because they're all criminal organizations, have taken advantage of it. And even when we say, they can put all the numbers, kuweka numbers si ngumu, kusema billions, that's very easy. But to actually be like, okay, we've said this hospital, ukienda kama a female, you need tests for this and this, you will get it for Doing it has become impossible. And as women, we clearly need to take it upon ourselves. So what should we be doing? I think we should be rampaging these places and be like, fuck you guys. That might sound a little bit violent, but I think we need to get violent.
The reason why I was saying as women we have forgotten to love I don't think even we have forgotten. We just don't love ourselves to the same extent that men do love themselves. It's what you've just mentioned. First of all, men will be so ready to stick out for another man, unlike us women. How will I put this difference? So a man wouldn't compromise on anything at all. Women, we compromise. We have these empathetic hearts, these nurturing hearts. To be very honest, it makes us female. It makes us feminine. Yeah, and all that. But we should add some power to it. The power that was there back then. The power that when you're talking to your grandmother and she's telling you that no, women will do this, women will do this. Like, we should take part of that back. I feel like it's also part of what we are letting down, because things like you'll hear a woman forcing another young lady to have a child as soon as possible, and we have heard about it. You being told by another older woman, "Now you don't want to get a baby anytime soon. Why? Get a child soon so that you rest." Exactly.
You rest.
So exactly, usually say so that you rest in your 40s or in your 35, you'll just be, and all that. You've had another woman telling a fellow woman. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from a point of you want to see her with a family, or is it coming from a point of like, no, she should follow the loop that I followed, good or bad, she should go through the same drain. But your time and again, you've had older men telling younger men, don't marry early, please.
Thank you.
You see, that's what I mean when I'm talking about we don't really love ourselves. If those women rep in that Senate come together and they stand on those tables and say pad inafakwa 5 bob. And they stand on those tables and now they start saying, let's expound this clause on abortion. Let's understand it. Let's understand this life clause exceptions. Now let's expound it. And they stand on those tables and they talk about sexual reproductive health rights for women, because you're mostly affected. That's what I mean by women. We have forgotten to love ourselves and also to love each other.
Each other. That's, you see, that each other. Women, and correct me if I'm wrong, women, we're very communal. We are very tutasaidiana. Now there's this culture coming up of being a girl's girl. And I can say there are pros and cons to being a girl's girl. And when I say cons, there are those girls who will entertain their friends when they're doing nonsense. A very good example is a guy asks you out and this person is either married, especially married, or with someone. And you're like, yeah, but he's spoiling me, I'm not sleeping with him, but you're entertaining it. You're not being a girl's girl to the wife, because she's also a girl. You're not being a girl's girl. How are you helping the wife? If you say, fine, this is also a trend that's been going on of girls applying glitter on themselves, so that if they're going for a date and this person is the partner, their partner will see it. Because madem tunaonanga vitu as microscopes. So it's like, okay, that's you being a girl's girl in a weird way, because at least that lady will come to find out, hey, this guy is being a fucker around here. And there's the element of we support each other as women. We encourage each other as women. I'm like, you have a business, okay, can we work together? You have a service that you offer, how can we work together? That kind of thing. And I feel like we are slowly going back to that community. Slowly. Emphasis on slowly. And I have to say, millennial women need to wake the fuck up. So the older women, wamama wazee munafaa muamuke. They need to get out and see that the suffering that they went through in now their marriages and their lives is not normal, because they've made women suffering normal. They have made it be.
Before I hinge on that, because I appreciate that sentiment, because I do understand there's this silent argument we have amongst the genders. But I can't lie to you, in the social classism that we don't abide to but silently exist amongst us, it does create competition. But it hinders us from seeing what actually is happening. So in northern and southern Kenya, big up to the women at those areas. They are doing a great job when it comes to understanding how feminists can be able to amplify some of these conversations within their circles. They are speaking about it. When it comes to not only providing data from marginalized communities that wouldn't even be reached by the media stations that we would, they are the ones who are presenting that information, being able to not only amend a lot of what they had endured, but having the conversations of how would you have done it differently. Now, the difference comes when we come to Uptown. Huku Uptown, unfortunately, a lot of things have been misconstrued. What do I mean by that? Things have been watered down to an extent that we've lost capacity to identify to ourselves first. Me as an individual, what do I stand for? Before I vie for whatever capacity of leadership that I can be able to foresee what others believe in, what do I stand for that they would be able to be in a position to resonate with? And I think most leaders that are in those positions are now in the quote-unquote caliber of competition amongst the men present. Because for a whole Esther Passares to be speaking amongst men that have no understanding of what women endure, it hurts. It really does hurt.
And she's not speaking about defending. How do you
She makes jokes about them, and you ask yourself,
on a national radio station and say the reason why we're having issues with Gen Z is because of a lack of family planning. A whole member of parliament.
but you do understand where she's coming from, because we are not her attention.
She's not using her brain. This is now, it now goes, because she's not, where we go again with your same competition. There's now women for women, which is girls, and there's the women for men. They're here to just push agendas for the men. They want to be seen in this limelight of, yeah, I'm siding with the boys. It's like, girl, boys are in a boys club. You will never be part of.
Yeah.
All you will be doing is peeping from the windows. When the window is closed, you will be peeping from outside. And it's like, get out of this ideology that you had, even during the femicide issue. And the first thing they go and say is, it is this girl's fault. It is because of wanting money. Most of these women had their own money. It's just like she said no. And her saying no, because again, it boils down to what? Respect. It boils down to not respecting women's bodies, women's anatomies.
You see, sorry, you see what you're talking about right now? It is what was pushing me to talk about things like now having an SRH office in a police station. You're having a woman who spends like 99% of her day with men. And what type of men? How do they speak? Like, we have seen how rogue things can get from maandamano ya juzi, where now they started actually using GBV against protesters. Huyo police officer mwenye alikuwa anapita, the lady being,
what is
there,
that
is the officer you're going to, and you're going now to report to, or you're going to report to a lady who hangs out with this person who has this mentality. It is only very rare that that lady's mentality has not been tampered with by these men.
It's very rare.
Exactly.
Because now she's like, I want to be part of the boys' club.
Yeah. And maybe most of the time, the boys will be there. So I could like...
And by the way, let's define this boys' club. In today's society, it's just a matter of progression. For individuals to behave to that capacity and for a woman to lose just the embodiment of being empathetic,
Exactly.
of being in a position to see another individual and be like, hey, let me reach out my hand. I don't have the instruments to take you out of this position, but I can be able to
stretch out.
physically,
Yeah.
hold you dear to me at this point. For most of these women, it's due to the economic times and the current struggles that we're all enduring. Everyone needs to survive.
Even
For me to put up with this police woman, she's only thinking about her paycheck that's coming at the end of the month. She's not thinking about this case here now. Same for Esther Passares. Yeah.
Which is sad. No, honestly, I'm sorry, but Esther Passares has no bloody excuse. She has no bloody excuse because she is in a place of excess privilege. She's a woman. She's also a woman. I'm sorry, but she does not get a free pass at any capacity. There's no capacity that she gets a free. She's always she goes out and says, oh, my voters are not the ones on social media. They're those wazers who I'm like, so you only work for old people. When during the Sabasaba day when there was the protest, the kuna shule there was Embakasi ilichomeka. She then she says, because of these young people protesting, I was not able to go to the school and support the girls. I'm sorry, unaenda kuzima moto. Are you going to inhale the fire? Because I'm sorry to say, your presence has lacked the oomph that it ought to have. Even when you guys were mentioning about the first lady, mama amefanya nini? Me, by the way, I'm asking out of curiosity. Mama amefanya nini kusaidia wanawake wa Kenya?
Honestly, I long for Lucy Kibaki's days and Mama Margaret.
Sorry,
Because
you just
I
say it.
long for the Lucy Kibaki days and Mama Margaret.
Man.
Yeah. First of all, Lucy Kibaki is a whole other case we'll discuss. But at least we saw Mama Margaret bring the Linda Mama.
Yes.
That on immediate effect, upon arrival, upon the state of this new regime, they did it like shoop. So those are among the things that zinafanya niseme, I don't think this government cares about women and children at all. Why would you remove such things?
Yeah. Why would it doesn't make sense?
It was a system that was set up and it's running. Why would you remove something like that?
And
Because the budget
not just running,
over
but
exudes what is already included in the health policy, which doesn't make sense, but very true.
And even
It's
you see, should show up.
It's scary sometimes.
She would show up for these things, and it doesn't mean showing up on the street. Even it's vocally. You give support. You're doing something with your platform. I'm sorry, but as first lady, there's a lot of shit you can get done.
A lot.
There's shit that I can't do, but you can get it done.
Even the first daughter, Charlene.
Now, first of all, can we stop calling her that? Can we stop calling her the first daughter? Because she baptized herself like she's fucking John the Baptist.
I feel you.
Can we stop baptizing? Can we just cut it out there? Because if you look at each and every presidency that we've had, she's the only child who feels like she needs to be an ambassador to her father, a cold-blooded murderer. And you are so quick to running here and telling us that, your father is doing the best he can. He even forgets to feed his children. Bitch! Kwani babako anakuja kukupikia ugali? Na unajaribu kusema babangu anafanyanga kazi nyingi sana, he forgets about his children. Please, can you stop it? Because she's making it worse. She's not being a girl's girl. She's being, in high school, those girls who walikuwa machopi for some subjects, lakini, but they were weird. I was a weird kid, but they were weird zilles. It was harder for them to socially connect. There were some people who are like that, unfortunately, or fortunately at the same time. And then now they've gotten into a high status of life, and they're now like, here I am. So that's what she really feels like. She's like she's reliving high school all over again. So I'm like, Charlene.
And we breathe again.
Rip it. Because there's nothing that you have done to support women. There's nothing you've done to support young girls. There's nothing you've done to support... There's nothing you have done to help support Africans. There's nothing you have done to help us move forward as Africans.
Just tour.
Now, part of the system, a lot of what people usually say is most leaders have damage control. Charlene is damage control.
Huyo nakwambia kazi yake ni pia babaka anaambia cheki ingia hapo uingisha watu box. Ndio kazi yake.
Because if you ask yourself, what distractions has she created that so many other youths would have had the privilege not only to advance, but to support what is not currently running.
Like, as a I think all of us, we know, if we were in such a position, you'd be like, first of all, we get to these facilities. What are you guys working with? What spaces are you working with? Because health begins with cleanliness. It begins with sanitation, with quality. But even if you start thinking of the quality of health that women are getting, it's not there. And not just women. Let's just say health in general. It's not there. Go to Kenyatta Hospital. That place is scary. That place is scary.
Can I tell you where health starts from?
Yes.
It starts from class, in the classroom. But what is being taught in the classroom is so different. So health inaanzianga kwa classroom. It starts from you being told, when you cough, you need to go get checked. When you feel a fever, you need to go get checked. That's why it's so easy for when you have a fever, you go to the hospital. When you have what, you go to the hospital. We have not started shedding light in the classroom. And then what is being taught in the classroom? First of all, we see a man's system coming and it's getting all this attention. A woman's coming and it's being told that it's only work, it's to give birth, to menstruate, full stop, kaput. So what exactly? Because some of these norms, they run deep in our backbone. I was actually talking with Mombi before all this began. They run deep in our backbone because it all started from there. So if we start from there and we tell them you have a right to access the highest attainable quality of healthcare in your country. If you start from there, that's where you will see part of the reason why we have mandamanos. It's because Gen Zs are aware that they need to access some of these things. It is my right to have a government that works for me and works very well.
That does its job.
I am your employer.
As simple as it.
Exactly. I am your employer. And as an employer, even in wherever, anywhere, if my employee doesn't work, I have the right to,
I have a right to fire you.
Leave. So Gen Zs have that knowledge in mind because it was instilled back then with the free education we got
Asante
from
Kibaki. Kibaki.
So you have to hear about it, you have to know about it, so that you can now start even fighting for it.
And you have to see it also.
And you also have to see that it's possible.
Because you're imagining when you're from a home of violence, all you see is violence, and then when you leave your home, unfortunately, I feel like when we're raised up, technically when you're being raised off the ideologies of other people. It's not your own thinking. It's literally you being given information based how other people see it.
Yeah.
And then you become an adult. When you become an adult, you now become your own sponge because you can read for yourself, you can research for yourself, you can discover and explore for yourself. And that brings a question in: are you going to stick to what you are shown, or are you going to put that here? What you've learned, put it here. What at the same time, don't forget there's the known knowns and there's the unknown unknowns. So there are things you don't know that you don't know, and that's what now you want to explore, and you put it here. Are you the kind of person who is like, nah, nilifundishwa even if what you mean? Nilifundishwa the only way I can be able to catch a fish is if I throw a net. That's the only way I'm gonna catch a fish, and that's the only way. And then the second person is, and then the other thing you're taught, oh, by the way, you can actually use a fishing line to catch a fish. Like, oh, cool. And then somebody will tell you, oh, by the way, you can be able to use big ass nets and 2 boats to catch a fish, Or there's other technologies, and maybe we don't know what other technologies they want to come up with. You can decide, am I going to stick to one, or am I going to adapt to it because that is knowledge? And many people choose to stay in what they've been taught. And Gen Zs are choosing not to. There's a
Actually,
percentage of Gen Zs. See what? There's a percentage, a high percentage of like, we need to start asking this question. This is not making sense. You told me 1 plus 1 is 2. But why is this here telling me 1 plus 1 is 22? It's not making sense.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. People actually think Gen Z are refusing. Gen Z are just questioning.
Thank you.
And we are preparing the room for Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha, no. Those guys know. You meet a kid and they tell you, no, you can't talk to me like that. And it's a 3-year-old. So those ones know. Gen Z, what they have started doing, they are questioning. Why am I paying tax and I'm having a government that works
and
like
we're questioning
this?
things we're not
Hey,
supposed
let
to
me
question.
go now question in the street together with other people. So we are just questioning. Gen Alpha now will come to tell them, by the way, kaini chini tuambie
What's
Z.
it to our show?
Yeah. And I was actually talking about also what you've mentioned with Mombi. I was telling her, when you're born, within the first 5 minutes of you've already been given your religion, your nationality. What else have you been given?
Gender.
You have given your gender.
Labda even what you'll pursue in the future.
And you spend your entire life fighting
Yeah.
for that.
So you have been given that within the first 5 minutes of your born. Hata hawajakuuliza, we hata unalia, unasumbuka, nimeland, guys.
Mimi nimeland,
Already you
guys.
have been given all those
Bado uko na
things.
turbulence. Bado uko na
Umepewa family, you have been given all that. And then now you grow up with this parent or guardian or siblings, and up or in between, no matter how best they try to do it, you might collect a trauma or two, you know?
Not might. You will.
Exactly. You will collect a trauma or two, or some things that will trigger you to behave in some certain way. So when you grow up and you're not intentional about changing those things, or you're not questioning those things, especially the things that you're given within the first 5 minutes. You're not questioning your religion. You're not questioning things like okay, you can't question your nationality, but you're not questioning things that you were given or but were instilled in you
ideologies.
in between growing up. You went to school.
Stereotypes.
Yeah, exactly. The stereotypes, the cultural norms, the social norms. You're not questioning them. If you're not questioning them in between, I feel now, personally for me, I feel like that's when now you miss on who the real you is. Now back to what Mombi was mentioning. Some of us don't know what we stand for. What exactly are my values? This is what I stand for. This is what I feel about this. And you know, that's it. And it's because I've done my due diligence. Even now, if we jump back to SRH, you just found out your friend is using a certain type of contraceptives. You have not done your due diligence. You have not questioned it. Religion is telling you so and so. You have not questioned it, first of all. Where is this thing coming from? Who exactly is it benefiting? So such things inafanya pia to miss out on so much. And me, I always tell people, you're born looking like your parents, but you die looking like your questions and your decisions.
True.
Yeah. What you don't question, you
Pauline.
don't question the government system. Who exactly was it meant for? Who exactly is it benefiting? You don't question the health system. You don't question certain policies. And the reason why I advocate for women to love themselves, when most of these policies and these policies and whatnots, when they were being made, those rooms were full of men. Because you're going back to the 80s, you're going back, you know, to when women were still fighting to vote, when women were fighting for a voice. Those are still the policies that are being used.
Yeah. Same thing. I think people forget. People forget again that these people, as we said earlier, took a lot of power from women. And I always say it's out of jealousy. You know, if you really think about it, it's one of the reasons why I say I think God is a woman. Between men and women, who are the ones who are able to create? And I was saying, God is the creator. So see, 1 plus 1 should be making 2 in that area. But even apart from that, you look at even again, I always like using the same. I like using religion as the weapon. I love using their own weapon against them. Each and every time, God extends respect to each and every time. Even when women have been created, we're made in secrets. Why? There's something about us. Even when Jesus came, Jesus gave Mary Magdalene's very important knowledge, and then they branded her whole. He specifically had conversations with her and told her that the knowledge, that the greatness that you are seeking is within yourself. The freedom and the will that you're seeking is within yourself. We say that we're made in the likeness and image of God, that God is within you. Why don't you want to embrace that God inside you? Unamtafuta pali pengine. So that's something that Jesus had a lot of conversations about. And when she went and told the disciples about it, the first thing Peter says is, Yani, Jesus saw you, a woman, he told you this, a woman in secret, but could not talk about this with us men in public. You couldn't with us men. And then one of the disciples, Levi, was like, bro, kama Yesu alimwambia. Kama alimshow.
Je, ulikuwepo?
Kama wewe kuambiwa, yenda aliambiwa, kwa nini unajaribu kupinga? Si vile vitu wewe umeambiwa si nini? You get? And this is one of the gospels that they have refused to add in the Bible at the moment. They have acknowledged that it exists because pieces of it was found in Greek, in Egypt, and because they've tried getting rid of this, the Gospel of Mary for years. But it is present. And it does show that Jesus always said, you can be more than me. You guys can be greater than me. The shit I've done is just because I know I'm the shit.
Because of awareness.
Exactly. I believe in myself as this shit. And this message, what you ask yourself, why was it given to women? Why were we the ones why was a woman entrusted with this information? And it seeps back a lot into, as we're saying, the functions of women. When we're grown up, when in school, you're showed mwanamke ni kutengeneza watoto
na kumenstruate.
Hizo vitu, but that's a portal. And a portal is not just about bringing things in and out, but harboring energy, you know? And our prime responsibility is not even to be giving birth. That's not our primary responsibility. That's a secondary responsibility. The primal one is to pass down wisdom and knowledge through stories. That is why it is your grandmother that passes down stories and not your grandfather, because it's something that is responsibility yetu, and it's a power that we have. They took our power and they made us feel shitty about it, and they took our control from our bodies. And now even jumping back to talking about our bodies, back to where we were talking about abortion. We're now getting into the topic of abortion. I personally believe that nobody should tell me what I should do with my body. You should not be telling me what I should do with my body, just the same thing as we don't tell men what to do with their bodies. So why should they tell women what to do with our bodies? And I think this whole pro-life thing, pro-choice, it's people are pro-birth. They are pro-birth, but not pro-life. Because you want watu wazaliwe tu. Lakini watu wanasahau, mtoto akishazaliwa. Wanasemaga mtoto anakuja na sahani yake. Mara nyingi sahani inakuja kama ni tupu. Wewe unafaa ujaziliko hiyo sahani.
Sahani hata wewe unaenda kutafuta kama mkunji.
Unaenda kutengeneza.
That's sahani. Wewe unaenda kutafuta kama mkunji. If you don't have kids to pick your kids from hospital, utatoka na shuka. It starts from there. That's how vivid it is.
So you're seeing already we already know as women we don't have a support. And people don't want us to tell them the truth that we don't have the support. It's you're trying to ignore a reality. And as much as I hate this narrative of when you have a child, your life ends, I hate that narrative so much. As somebody who wants to have children one day, I hate it so much because I'm like, I do believe a child can be a blessing. But at the same time, I'm like, we have to be realistic. We have to be realistic. We can't just be popping kids just because they're blessings.
So it's by virtue of society.
Yeah, exactly. So it has to make sense. But if I'm put in a situation, and that's why I always say, I will never, ever put myself in a situation where I have to abortion. I do not ever want to put myself in that situation. That is one of my biggest rules to myself. So you see, the first responsibility also has to fall on me as a woman. But at the same time, it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. A man will go. Let's use practical examples. How many girls have been blackmailed by border riders with sex or pads. Countless.
The stories are so many and they're so insane.
They're so insane.
And now it's growing.
And these are men who have wives, who probably have daughters.
We don't
probably
even have to
sisters.
explain the description of why they exist as men. Simply because it's a transaction. That means that this lady already needs, again, we're naming this thing of survival simply because the economy cannot sustain the livelihoods of these individuals.
True.
So for her, it's not even a matter of choice. It's a matter of, will I be able to wake up tomorrow without the meal that I'm going to have? I can't go home because my mom has told me I can only provide a meal for the end of the week. So ujitafutie. Kabla urudi home, jua tu. Kenye unakula shule is the last meal. What would you do? Remember, you're 6 years old.
And that's your mother telling you that?
Kabla umetoka nyumbani.
Huo ni mamako. Mamako mwenye amekujua even prior to those 9 months. Prior to those 9 months. You guys have been together. You know? And you're like, it also then puts the question of this child is like, okay, who am I to trust? Who am I to go to? But again, it boils down to what we started talking about. Humanity. Instead of, huu ni mtu mkubwa. Ana blackmail mtoto mdogo. With sex. Something she does not know about.
Exactly.
Something that is an option. Having a period is not an option. And he knows. He knows. But still does what? Blackmails her.
And then now this kid who's going to look for 50 shillings for a pad.
Hata 50 bob ni umeenda chini. Pads zimepanda.
Hakuna pad ya 50 bob.
Hakuna.
Yeah. So this kid who's going to look for money for pads or money for just to survive has to sleep with this man. And then now this kid akwe pregnant. So the society expects that kid to carry that pregnancy to full term. First of all, they cannot sustain themselves. They're sustaining even the mom, who is now way older, and then now wamekuwa pregnant by someone who for sure will not take care of that kid.
Atamuruka kama skipping rope.
Let's now go back. First of all, her body by itself cannot handle that pregnancy. It can carry, but it can't handle. Yes. Her brain by itself cannot handle that pregnancy. It can carry, but it can't handle. Her heart, her emotional state when that kid will be coming. It can carry the kid, but it can't handle. Now we are having a kid who is having mental health issues with a kid here who already has mental health issue because her pregnancy journey wasn't also that easy.
So the child already is born with trauma.
So what do we see here? The cycle of what African societies continue to endure. And we are glad to have this because the system has created us to think like this, to support this kind of framework. We are not created the way we are created simply because things are meant to work in our defense. The system conditions us to work with the framework that it wants to sustain whatever advantages that they are able to subdue to.
Whatever agendas they have.
They are protected.
What is the current policy on abortion in Kenya? And how does it work?
So, according to the constitution, it hasn't scrapped out abortion 100%. There are certain clauses under the life clause expectations that it says something in the line of, you can go check, I think it's still under Article 43 or 26. 26, yeah. Where it states a mother can terminate a pregnancy under certain clauses. If the health, there are quite a number, but one of that I want us to shed light on is if the life and health of the mother are in danger. Are in danger. If the life and health of the mother are in danger, then you're allowed to have an abortion, with a trained professional. It also states that. So let's now define health. Life, at least now we know if the mother is about to die, now we can terminate the baby. That one is usually easy for the society to
Just
understand.
Here, but don't forget that there was a case just this year in the States where there's a young lady who had passed away. They kept her body alive as an incubator because she was pregnant. They kept her alive for, 3 to 6 months as an incubator for this child. But now this child is coming to earth without a mother.
Mm.
This child has come to this earth with all the stress, because what mommy feels, baby feels. It's all transfusion.
Yeah.
If you have a happy pregnancy, you have a happy baby. You have a depressed pregnancy, you have a depressed baby, because it's transferred. So now you're asking, okay, what becomes the quality of life for this child? Because again, that's pro-birth, pro-life. And if you ask me, if we are not careful, we will end up in the same trap.
But are we not there already? Because if you do look at whatever context culture places itself, a child is a blessing. Let's stretch that more. Even for the many children that unfortunately serve as the margins within informal settlements and marginalized communities, how many of those children still live within those conditions because they were a blessing? And I'm sorry to speak about it in these terms, but these are the things that now a lot of the organizations that Pauline was mentioning have to work an extra extreme to fight some of these challenges from a mental capacity for an individual to see that, you know what, yes, a child is a blessing truly, but what blessing can I add to this blessing? As opposed to them just being a blessing that is supposed to come and add to me.
Ni kama inakuja na manual yake.
How?
Na everything. I mean, you know how you can get a package delivered, like a table that you want to assemble, so it comes with the parts, but it also comes with the screwdrivers. It's like, okay, the table has come, but where are the screwdrivers? Where are the screwdrivers?
People are completely... Sometimes it feels heavy to say because, and by the way, join me as I breathe. But, yeah, sometimes it does seem like people are blinded by the values and the norms that have been created and institutionalized by a lot of religion, education, and now the formalities of you having to be a grown-up.
Yeah.
If you take all of those away, what position does that place you in? How would you be able to look at yourself and still be able to identify yourself? Most of the youth at this time and age, we thank God, have capacity to reach for some of this information. And with the help of the organizations on the ground, I appreciate what Elim is doing on the ground. As simple as advocacy for mental health. That you know you have capacity to do whatever is in your right to make sure that your well-being is good for you before you implement it into any other individual or under any other infrastructure or institution. You have capacity to take care of yourself. A lot of Kenyans don't know that. And I speak of Kenya because I have seen what is happening in Kenya. And I thank God that I have capacity to say that it's a privilege for you to see and act from awareness. Many Africans act out of what is a pattern. It's a systematic pattern. My mom did this, so even I can do this. My mom told me, so even I should. But what about you?
What do you think?
If you ask that to a lot of Kenyans, there's no response.
Because you've not been, is that, we're true nasema, hatuja...
You see the system that you're talking about?
Yeah.
If you sit down and study it from way back, or from now, my study and how I saw it, it is a system. What is taught in school, and when you go now to the, I'll just call them high-end schools, we are taught different. These ones are taught to question things.
Yeah.
That is why unaambiangwa tajiri atazidi kuwa tajiri, because now they go to these schools where they're taught to question things.
Yeah.
And when you get to question something, you can have another take on it, and it's easy for you to change even a policy. Go back to the schools that I think now most of us in this room attended to. It's we cram, we do an exam. We were taught to just absorb, not to question. It starts from... They had to craft the system. That's why when we were talking about Mumbi and we were talking with Mumbi and we were saying tutahil senye tutaanza kuheal, and we start questioning things and actually going back. The reason why I say as Africans tuko very confused is tuliletewa easy vitu na the colonial. Yeah. walituletea hii kitu na tulikuwa na hii kitu yetu enye ilikuwa ina work very well and smoothly. So tuko na hizi vitu mbili and we don't want to let go of any. Because tukifuata hii tutakuwa like exactly like the white. Tukifuata hii tutakuwa exactly the way we were before the white man. Like, just call him the white man in this year.
Don't even bracket the white man.
Before the white man came, you know. So we have this too. We don't want to let it go. We want to act all woke, all aware about things, all aware about
All
mental
Western.
health. Yeah, like we know stuff and all this. But now when we bring about abortion, our Africa inaingia tuko like, hey, but we are Africans,
But the
we
thing, even
don't,
as Africans,
you know.
yes, we can say that abortion is not an African element because it's never been an issue.
It wasn't a
It
term.
wasn't a term. We're like, what are you talking about? Like, it wasn't a problem because there was abundance. There was community. There
Exactly.
was, if I'm not able to take, kuna mwenye atakuja kunisaidia. Tutasaidiana.
Exactly.
Na si kusaidiana temporarily, but kusaidiana in a matter of, na kusaidia ndio izae ndio si atukae tu mbele unangoja usaidiwe. There was that.
Yeah.
And we didn't have this weren't the cases. But then now you come in, the British soldiers and all their nonsense still today are still sexually violating women till today. But nothing is being done. People are just throwing around papers and thinking that's the solution. It's even when I don't know, but what's the penalty for rape in Kenya? What happens to when somebody has been found guilty of sexual violence? Okay, how many years are they going to jail? 2 or 5 years, and then they come back scot-free. For why? Will the woman be scot-free about the pain and mental disturbance that she has?
So, for example, so I'm a Kikuyu, so I'll talk about my history because that's the one I'm still studying on. So, back in the days before the white man came, if a young man have a young lady pregnant na hawajaoana, it was such a big thing for the young man, for the family and the clan, because the number of cows you will bring to, you know, kuweka, we say kuweka igogona, yeah, lazima apologize, you know, and all these things. And hiyo tu ni kusema pole, it doesn't guarantee that now you'll automatically go to this other side, you know. We had that was working. That's why things like abortion, because unwanted pregnancy inatoka wapi? Haujafanyiwa ceremony, haujafanyiwa bado hiyo clan haijakuja huku kuomba msichana and all that. So we had a system that was working. So some things were so rare kusikia. Plus women back in the days were held with, you know, high regard. We were the people who have been sent to Mount Kenya to go and talk to Guy.
Because we are the ones with the connection.
You know, to talk to Guy as men go and hunt and do all these things. So women were held somewhere. So the white man comes and tells us now all these things, and now we absorb them, but again hatutaki kuachilia huko. I feel hiyo inafanya.
No, actually, I think there's a lot about our Africanness that we have left around.
Yeah.
Because and
it's bringing so
brings
much
up this
confusion.
Corruption. Yes, the corruption and confusion comes now in. So when somebody is trying to remind you of where we're from, you're like, you're lying. You're making it up. But it's no, half of these nonsenses are not from us. They are not by us. And as Africans, we need to snap out of it.
Exactly.
We honestly need to snap out of it. And it's I always say it's so scary. One of the scariest things to be right now in this world is a woman. It's so scary. Like, it's always been scary, but I feel like it's gotten scarier because it doesn't even matter what you're wearing.
For me, it got real item ya maandamano. The police can actually use it. Do you know, that blew my mind. If the police can use GBV as a weapon. Like, when you wanatumia a gun, they are now saying women wakikuja kwa streets on their way home, they'll be killed, they'll be raped, they'll be... Oh, Jesus.
How are you?
That one
and nothing
hit.
happens to these people.
Exactly.
Nothing happens. That's why I'm like, by the way, I think also there's, in Iran, I think it's in Iran, there's a political party that's been formed for women, by women, and they're like, we are going to kick these assholes out. The women have come together, and they're like, fuck it. Honestly, fuck it. I don't care if you're richer than me, but me and you, they see us the same. They don't care that your status is higher than mine. They see us the same. Go to Afghanistan. Women right now are covered up, even apart from wearing the hijab and the ninja, kuna wamevaa pia neti inafunika hivi kabisa
Yeah.
unajua hii
The men decided women can use one eye, so now they
imagine, and no, it's not a full eye. It's not a full eye. It's half an eye. And it's not ati macho yako inaonekana hivi, ni bado umefunika. Unaona hizi tunekanga kwa curtains, tunekanga
neti.
Bas. Ni fabric net imefunika, and there's still women being you'll find a man look at her. I'm like, girl, I'm fully covered in baggy. It's baggy, head to toe, and you're still looking at a woman like that. Why are we still punishing women? And it's men. Women are being punished for issues that men can't control themselves, but it's our fault.
So going back to now my talk on tradition and now the Western side. Now I add now that one, because the African side, it protected us. This side is not protecting us, and why are we taking so much time to see? It's not it's more of it's protecting the man, because if you go to the man's clauses, ziko catered for, but for a woman, if they are catered for, they are so grey. For example, our constitution, when you say a woman can terminate if the life and health are in danger, can we expound that health? Under that health, we include things like mental health.
Yeah,
if
so
I'm not, it's part of health. And now we go back to the right that say you have a right to the highest. In Kenya, as a human being, it's a right you need to be treated under anything health. Actually, they usually say you don't even have to be sick. You're just overall health. Your physical, mental, emotional well-being has to check in. When you go to life and health, mental health, if a girl is not ready to carry a baby, that counts.
It does.
Yes, because the thing that zita sprout from that, first of all, she was not ready. And then now apatwe na postpartum depression. What are we doing to this person? And nowadays we are seeing young men impregnate even as many ladies. And now to take care. Because akienda koti aseme yeye ni sorry to attack my people, but aseme yeye ni Gen Z.
No, attack. It's calling accountability.
Aseme yeye ni Gen Z tunatafuta kazi huku nje, anatafuta kazi, but alikuget pregnant na society haitaki wewe uabort yo mtoto. The one who got you pregnant ana kazi, so hata mkienda kwa court itam hold down kutake care with what? Anatekea na yeye mwenye hana kazi, atatake of what?
Hata haizi kujichunga.
Wewe mwenyewe, you're now depressed because you yourself, you don't have a job, your family is not well off, and then the society they usually throw this thing off, then simu abstain, then see you don't have sex. If you don't have money, don't have abstain till you have money where you can handle and all these things. And I go back to someone who has that question, at what age were you curious about sex?
True.
And how did
when you're a teenager.
Exactly. When you're a teenager. And the exposure rate now, it's even crazy.
And talking about exposure, I think even that I'd like you to give me something on this. When we talk about exposure, about such certain things, there are levels. I believe personally there are levels of education that you can give people. When we were in class 1, we were not using the logbook, whatever, Yukitu, that table. Why? We were not ready for that knowledge. When you were in Form 4, you were not being told about citations. Why? Because you're not citing other people, right? So that technically tells us that the older you grow, things change. The information you get changes. And I think that is the same thing. It has to be the same thing also with sexual reproductive health.
It is.
But that's not the case.
It's not.
That's
not the case. And even something as simple as period poverty. It's the case where you're like, sometimes you're like, wait, how didn't you know that about your period? And you're like, damn, I actually am privileged to know X, Y, and Z about my period, But when we talk about now from a psychological point of view and the readiness, what is the extent to it? Because you can find a crazy lady who will be like, brah, umeneka mtoi, ni mimi na wewe. Wewe una kitu, tunaenda kufanya. How now again, African communities used to do. Tunaenda kwenyu.
But you see, right now, I think even when it comes to leadership, one thing that I can openly be able to state is that there's no accountability. And that's what I was mentioning. After implementation, where's the reflection? Where's the point of reference? Where can we go back and be like, hey, here we did, but it didn't fit this representation or this population that we are looking at. Right now, individuals who even have capacity to address or even have access to some of these services, you ask yourself to what level? When we began, you posed a very serious question. For a gynecologist to be not only extending a service that is not meant to be paid for, at what point is he coming from? Who gives him that position? And if he was to be pressed, where would be the point of accountability? That you would be like, hey, I could easily just raise this to so-and-so, but who is so-and-so?
Yeah. Who can I go to?
And right now, the so-and-so, unfortunately, because the systems that have been created or are supposed to be supporting the individuals that are undergoing a lot of this oppression, have no accord, have no structure, have no sense of familiarity of who they're representing. So who's representing them? NGOs. And NGOs have no full amend to be able to sustain the objective of their research or whatever reason that they're running their project, and to be able to now support the solutions. Because where is that funding coming from?
From outside.
And if outside is being restricted at this time and age, where Kenya is supposed to be a global, I don't know. Unfortunately, there's so many questions more than answers.
Yeah.
It's almost straining to support an avenue that could be the resolution for an individual, because where is the resolution?
Yeah.
At what point would I be able to tell an individual, if you need support, go here and here? But, disclaimer, because I can't be assured that you will get the full accord of the support that you need, because the systems that are supporting that avenue are the government. So what do? We take things into our own hands. Like Pauline has said, if you're in a position to support an organization that you are aware of what they're doing, please go ahead.
Support.
Do whatever is in
We
your
have to
means.
do it ourselves. In
Reach
short-
out, speak
In short,
to
we have to
them.
do it ourselves.
If you don't have an avenue to support their funds, there are so many other ways you can. Even if it's just trailblazing the conversations that they're
Yeah.
having. That is an avenue
Because
already.
it's awareness.
It is.
And we need to create more awareness of these issues so that people, I want somebody by the time they finish watching or listening to this episode, they're like, damn, I really should be asking these questions.
Yeah.
I really should be wondering, okay, nye kazi yenu tu ni PR. Kazi yenu tu ni kuja kupiga perepere. There's a couple of videos I want to show you, ladies. This is a situation that happened in Abuja, Nigeria.
And I do.
Okay. Yes. We watch it together. This person. So part 2 is they go to the hospital. She gets the letter, and then one of the nurses tells her that she's actually in labor. So she starts crying because she's like, damn, I've not bought things for my baby. So this lady, she's like, don't worry, I will help you. The things you need to get, nitakupeleka. Takes her, they buy all the things she needs. Like, and where's your husband? He's at home. I think he was sick or something. That part wasn't properly articulated. So she then goes to the so wakaenda hospitali because it was along the wakaenda hospital because hiyo siku aliambiwa hii si siku ya whatever, si siku ya wamama. So she went to another hospital. Kwenda hapo imejaa. Aya. Went to another hospital. Imejaa. Mind you, this is 3 days after because she was told Friday is a day wanashughulikianga wamama. She got the letter, waited 3 days, went back on Friday. Aya. Was told, she called her sister. She told, you have somebody else. The same lady is one who helped. Akamwambia nitakuja nikupik tukupeleke hospitali. Kuja wakampeleka hospitali. The first one imejaa, second one imejaa, third one ndo akapata ka space. She went to, she's now gone, the sister came, rara. She did a follow-up. The lady's babies had died. She was expecting twins. That's not even the devastating part.
I think I've heard about it now.
These children were dead for over 6 days. So she was carrying these children when they were gone. the pain in that woman's eyes was, you can't even understand it. And again, it boils down to what? Systems. Systems. The system has never been created for such a woman. It's only been created for the woman who has privilege. And there was so much love and support for her. There was a lot of question, of course, now on the system. This is the question that we're pulling. Same questions are being asked. And also, okay, by the way, where was her husband? 9 months.
Yeah.
9 months. 9 months. Where was her husband? Where? What was the plan? Because as much as people like saying children are blessing, at the same time you need to this is a blessing you need to plan and prepare for. This is not like a job that, hey, it's a new no. This one you have to plan and prepare for. And again, systems. It's just systems.
All systems failed her. I even shared that here a little bit.
Yeah.
All systems failed her. First of all, nasikia that Friday is the day for pregnant women.
Yeah?
What exactly is that?
What does that mean?
Because if it's a right, if being held, it's a right in the Constitution, why can I access that right once a week? Why am I accessing it once a week?
I think let's give room to question where Honorable Margaret Kenyatta was coming from while creating Linda Mama. She had done her research. She had declared a lot of data and research to support the funds that were not only from the government, but were partially from international systems. It doesn't make any sense. You even ask yourself, by the time she's going for a checkup, wouldn't you be able to notice some of these complications?
That
but
means
if
probably
the
she isn't-
systems are not in a position to even tell her, you
go
know
for
what,
a checkup,
go,
or you're
yeah,
able to go for a checkup.
you wonder, it's scary. I'm telling you, it's very scary. And before we even get to the health of another child, the health of the mother was already infringed on.
Even
For
if-
her to
even if
be
you look at her
carrying,
body.
yeah,
If
for
you
her to
look
be
at her.
carrying
Yeah.
individuals that have already a part of the past.
And
What
you
is
don't
that
even
doing to
know-
her body?
You don't even know.
Now let's jump into mental health, because she's lost her children. She's lost her state of understanding what the future will look like. Does she have any support of mental health?
Probably even she'll go home and be told, always beba watoto wewe.
Aki.
Ama tunazaa lini tena?
Tunajaribu tena
I'm still
lini.
trying to heal out of the trauma of losing this.
We also go back to who exactly are working in those clinics, in those hospitals, because those people put in those clinics by NGOs. When you go there and hear stories now from the people, from the community people, you'll be shocked. The women working in those facilities, probably they have not even been trained, or maybe they're just ignorant. Because me as a fellow woman, if I saw her, I know she doesn't have the money, even maybe for something as simple as a scan. I wouldn't mind to sneak in a scan Aki for them. Because I've seen that video. She looks like she's amefika mwisho ya
Amefika
dunia.
mwisho, by the way.
Amefika mwisho. So you finding that receptionist who is a fellow woman, na unamwambia mi sisikii heartbeat, sisikii movement, na anakwambia enda ukuje na hiyo 28,000.
Imagine.
But you see that happens in Kenya also.
That
Yeah,
happens in Kenya
it
on a daily.
happens.
I mean,
And it drains down again to our humanity.
right now, the percentage of youth carrying pregnancies and mental health conditions zinaendana tu. Ziko tu.
That is why now we need to open the talk on abortion. Yeah, because the life and health of a mother being in danger, that includes mental health.
And if the mother is not okay, that child is not going to be fine.
They won't be fine.
And it's okay to see that.
That child will not be fine. But again, this is not pro-life, this is pro-birth. This is pro-birth. Because there's nothing you're doing to assist this woman in any way. And yet, it is her right. Yet, she has toiled, she's probably definitely paying taxes. She's doing what you told her that she needs to do for her to get access to such things. But she's not. And especially the stuff like mental health, even right now, I want to jump a little bit to the guys. There's this whole narrative. I'm calling it a narrative because it is a narrative that men are going through depression. Men are going through depression.
They are.
Right? And I'm not a man. But from a woman's perspective, to some degree, it really looks like people are just not babying you people anymore, and you're catching feelings about it. You're not throwing a tantrum about it. I'm sorry. That's exactly what it's feeling. Because how many men are sitting down on their asses not doing things? How many men are abusing women? And I'm sorry to also say, spoiling the name of the entire men of society, because not all of them are bad. We can't negate that there are those who are not bad, but they are also being roped into this cluster because of, one, I can say, is laziness from these other guys. And also, I think this is where I think as I raise a challenge to the guys of hold you guys accountable. Accountability. Where is it? Because you can ask, I think we had this conversation, you can ask every guy, they know at least one guy or two guys who is capable of rape.
Of GBV.
Or GBV, some level of sexual violence or any violence. Every single man knows. So
if we played that game here, who is most likely to? In a setup of friends, I'm sure guys can point out someone.
They can point out. They know a person or two.
Now, unfortunately, maybe I will play devil's advocate.
Please do.
Because a lot of what is being reflected from the ground, I can't lie to you, there is a very extremely high expectation for men. And what comes for a man to not only present himself as a man, but to be accepted by society as a man. And I think that's where the confusion comes in, because the conversation we were having with Pauline is, I stated that a lot of the challenges that we're enduring today is because, yes, people lack awareness, but also a lot of the opinions and reasons to personify the people that they are, or to carry the personifications that they are, is simply out of a point of pain. For an individual to behave in a certain manner and lack any sense of remorse, where are we going? It's not simply because, yes, I do understand where a lot of the situations would lose track of, the depth that it holds. But if you were to look at that specific scenario, it's a role play of power. A man wants to exhibit that he is
A man.
able. Not even a man, he's able. But what able are you showing? That I can exude what you think I can. Not because you've told me I can't, but I'm trying to prove a point. Where is the point? And that's where we were coming indirectly, even when we were starting the podcast. When you speak about this reasoning behind respect, there's always a hidden agenda, which still has to be respected. For an individual to be able to speak without remorse, they have to be heard first. And that's why I'm pro-healing. Go for therapy, go for counseling. Find safe spaces that you can not only have an outlet, but an inlet of healthy decisions, healthy avenues that you can not only relearn what you have been brainwashed or conditioned, but have room to question that, hey, I used to do this in the past. Is it really benefiting the individual that I would hope to be, or the individual that I would want to be able to be? I am able still. No one needs to tell me that I'm able. But since society has told me to be a man, you have to. To be a man, you need to. To be a man, you should. To be a man, you... Hata kabla babako azaliwe, you should have. You are. What men are we creating?
One second, if I'm being very honest, the same society we're saying that is holding these standards for men, who put these standards for men?
The men themselves.
Thank you.
That's true.
So if we as women are saying we want to break out of societal norms, even them, snap out of it.
And that's why we have to talk about the youth that have the avenue of reach. My guys, if you know that there's an individual that is close to you that is in the mental health industry and you feel like, I could probably benefit from this, benefit. At the end of the day, humanity was built to support each other. Without the individuals that you do feel add a sense of purpose, or even just you feel at home with them and you're not benefiting from them, I think it's a matter of time you begin questioning that.
Yeah.
And within the same spaces that, through Elim, the capacity to speak about the challenges that you've endured gives you a better reasoning on how you'd be able to approach them if you were to go through it again. And that's where the cycle ends, because some individuals just don't know better.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of men stem from, because yes, I've been told this by society all along, but I still need to prove myself. Who are they proving themselves to?
That's a very good note to end the show today. I think we should try and prove these points to ourselves. Because at the end of the day, you're living for you, and you cannot appear in society appropriately if you do not appear to yourself appropriately. So I do agree that we do need to heal. Like, we're just a bunch of motherfuckers with so much trauma. And we need to start healing that trauma.
And that's okay.
And we need to have those conversations, have those confrontations, and ask this question. Because this is how we start healing. This is how I think we start healing, when we start questioning stuff. We have a closing tradition on the podcast where you give us a word and a hashtag that describes health policies in our country today. It's a word and a hashtag. Whoever is ready.
I think my word is grey, the color grey. And my hashtag is, no, I need to get an interesting hashtag.
What's your word, Mumbi?
I think my word is being.
Being.
What makes you be? And through that be, what continues that essence of being? Because that's really what adds to you being human. Your being.
Hashtags?
My hashtag is it white or black? Hashtag is it white or black?
Okay.
Because the reason why, according to me, some of these policies and law are not getting the attention that they deserve, it's because they're so grey. When you're talking about, when you go in the Constitution and we expound on health, can we expound on all of them?
Can we make it clear?
Can we touch on mental health? When you go to the international health policy, can we expound on things? Can we stop leaving things black and white?
The details.
Exactly. Because for some of these things under SRH, if we make them black or white in the policies and in the law, there won't be room for argument or questions regardless of what is coming. Is it religion? Is it social norms? Is it what? They'll find law imeget to in a chill. Wewe unasema, nimesema abortion, people should access safe abortion. Next, unasema, nimesema watu wanafaa ku access contraceptives and talk to gynaes and get. Unasema, like, you know, no matter
it's
what.
Clear.
It's very clear. You see, the way we don't argue about the right to life, it should be the same. Let's put things in black and white. People in those leadership seats, let's have this conversation. Let's expound that constitution. Let's expound those policies. Let's put things in black and white. That no matter what comes, religion, social norms, cultural norms, even the West now, they come and bring in whatever they want to bring because they love to put their toes in Africa.
That's what Netanyahu is trying to dip his toes in Africa through Nigeria. I'm like, guys,
they are really working so hard to disturb Ibrahim, you know? So no matter what comes, if we have things in black and white, ziko black and white.
True.
But if you have things in grey, pia unakwanga, ama abortion ni mbaya, ya kila mtu, hata contraceptives tusipe teenagers ni watoto. You know? But if we have things in black and white, SRH is a right for everyone. Even teens can go to a clinic
and it's about information
and inquire
and
about contraceptives and actually get them. That the person who will be working there won't tell them, wenda kwanza usome, upate mwili wachana vijana, you know. If we, you know, because those people, the receptionists, they have that way of talking. If we have a black and white law, so for me my word is grey, and my hashtag is it black or white?
Awesome. What's your hashtag?
Nasikia pressure kiasi. That was so beautiful.
Thank
Hey,
you.
no pressure, no pressure.
I think, can I give 2 hashtags?
Okay.
A bit of an exception, yeah. But I wanted to request, if possible, maybe we could blow out hashtag revision of policies. Because, yes, there are a lot of policies, and we do have a lot of legislation that can protect the human. But is it protecting the human of today?
Today.
Does it represent the current state, conditions, and circumstances that the current human is,
going through.
having to endure?
Yeah.
It's a bit, for me, it's a bit hard to navigate because policies take a very long time to be tabled. So even the revision of policies almost feels like a stretch. I'm asking for too much. But if the policies are not serving those that are currently existing, then what good are we doing?
What is it doing there?
And then, nadhani nimesahau the second one. But the second one I wanted to... I think imeenda. So let us do that one. Yeah,
As
let
you
us do
think
that
on
one.
yours, can I also add on women, let's love ourselves and love
please.
each other.
Each other.
Yes. When you hear a young girl being told some false things by someone else and you know your truth, you can share your truth with that person.
Yeah.
It starts from there. You had your child, you had your issues carrying that child. Can we talk about that first? And then now we talk about that. Yeah, this baby is cute and all that. Can we, as also mothers, can we talk that kids go beyond giving birth?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to spend, kwa hii economy ya kasongo, bado utafute time ya kasongo, utafute time ya mtoto wako,
Utafute time yako.
utafute time
Utafute
yako,
time ya bwana yako.
utafute time ya bwana yako,
Utafute time ya familia yako.
you know,
Utafute time ya kazi yako.
it goes, na siku hizi hauwezi lelewa mtoto na community.
Because you can't trust people. Kids,
You can't?
Kids are being killed because of their organs. It's in neighborhoods. It's a very scary world that we're living in, and it's been really amazing to have this conversation with you ladies.
So as women, let's have this conversation. Go on.
Yeah, we should. Thank you. We should, again, amazing conversation. We should keep having these conversations because it's the only way to break the norms, to break the expectations, and to really just be able to reclaim our power back to ourselves and hit the freaking reset button, you know.
Actually, I'm so sorry, Pauline. That's why I've remembered. Pauline, if you're true, I just wanted to say, imagine hashtag just be a good human.
Just be a good human. You know what? Yeah, just be a good human. Like, it actually won't cost you much. It will cost you nothing, literally, to be a
Kindness
good
is the only thing not taxed.
And air. Before
Hey.
Bill Gates thinks of a way to tax air. So kindness is the only thing that we have. Be human, be humane.
Mna shout saizi White House taking notes.
I don't think these people want me to close this show today.
Na kuna shida na hiyo kweli.
So in short, be human, be accountable, ask questions. Kuuliza si ujinga.
So
So
true.
let's keep asking. It has been real. It has been amazing. As always and as usual, please, kama kawaida, tupatane, same place, same moment, same thing, and stay African, and please, stay very, very radical. See you next time.
Bye.
Thank you.